as the U.S. openly discusses a so-called zero option for Afghanistan, in other words, leaving it with no international defense forces after the planned withdrawal next year, the war against Afghan women is escalating. Take a look at Sahar Gul. She was forced into marriage to an older man at the age of 12. She ended up in the hospital. She's shown here after police rescued her from a cellar in her husband's home. She had been kept prisoner. She'd been starved and tortured. Her fingernails had been torn out. Her injuries were so severe that she almost died. 3 members of her husband's family were convicted of attempted murder. But last week, a Supreme Court judge released them from jail, barely a year into their 10-year sentence. And a victim's legal recourse is under threat now, with the Afghan parliament considering legislation that would limit eyewitness testimony in rape and other domestic abuse cases. And it gets worse. Women's rights and gains were a hallmark of the international intervention in Afghanistan. A decade of investment and real progress are now being set back as we speak. Later this week, the U.S. plans to announce a major effort to protect those rights. But who will guarantee them once U.S. troops and other forces are gone? My next guest, Fawzia Koofi, knows firsthand the struggles that women face in Afghanistan. When she was just a newborn, her parents left her outside in the baking sun. They were torn about whether to keep her because she was a girl. They had a change of heart, and she grew up to become a member of the Afghan parliament. And I spoke to her about what's going on right now, just moments ago, from Kabul. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
As a member of parliament, how concerned are you that the authorities, people in Afghanistan, are trying to reduce the number of seats that elected women can hold?
Well, there was an attempt, unfortunately, to remove the quota for 25% women participation at the provincial, district and village level, or village councils, by the lower house, so the house that I represent, without even letting the plenary know about it. And then after a lot of efforts, we managed to bring it back, but only 20% at the provincial level. It indicates the fact that some politicians already inside the parliament, outside the parliament, they are preparing themselves for a new situation post 2014, and perhaps to welcome Taliban and their views in terms of women's rights in Afghanistan.
Fawzia, it's not just quotas that are at stake in terms of elected and appointed politics. It's also the criminal law is being gradually chipped away, the law that was put there to protect women from violence. Tell me exactly how that is affecting women right now. What kind of crimes are we seeing that are going unprosecuted?
Well, the law on violence against women, which was enforced as a presidential decree in 2009, and it needed to be passed by parliament in order to make it a national document. And when it becomes, when it's approved by the parliament, it will not be politically dealt or politically, played by any upcoming president. So in order to make it more sustainable law, we presented to the parliament to approve it by the parliament. It's a law that stops forced and early marriages. It's a law that gives somehow punishment for those who marry second, third or fourth wife without implementing Sharia, without bringing justice, without giving equal rights for all wives. It's a law that gives punishment for those who are raping or sexually exploiting women. It was not approved by parliament, unfortunately. There were some extreme figures in the parliament that labeled this law different kinds of labels, and there was a silence by the political leaders and including the palace, no voice of support for this law. That is an indication of how women's rights are in decline, and how difficult it is for not only women but also for the activists to take the cases of women forward.
I mean, it is incredible to be sitting here and talking about Afghanistan going backwards after all the progress that was made 10, 12 years ago. How afraid are you right now, Fawzia, all the hard-won rights that you all have fought for?
It's one of the main concerns that not only women in Afghanistan have, but our allies, our brothers who are supporting us in many occasions. The concern we have is not only women's rights, because women's rights is so much connected to other democracy elements. Women's rights in Afghanistan means freedom of speech, means people are allowed to go and say what they want to say. It means freedom of media. So it means the whole democratic participation and process. And if that is being affected, then the bigger message is the democracy in Afghanistan is also at risk and in danger. We have seen evidence that women have not been included in the peace process, not by number. I mean, quantity-wise, yes, women are less represented in the peace process, but there are issues as well. The issues that women are concerned, and in our history, in our recent history, we have seen that women issues have been easily compromised. Women's rights have been easily politically compromised. Therefore, I think it's important for any government to make sure that 55% of the society is part of any processes. Without that, I think peace or any progress will not be long-lasting and sustainable.
So what do you think the U.S. should do? For instance, the head of USAID is announcing a major initiative to support Afghan women. What should the United States and other international partners do?
The international community needs to keep their commitment and focus on women's rights. We see also there is a backwarding steps by the international community as well. Issues that international community that was our partner 6 or 7 years ago, now when we knock their door and when we go to ask their support, they say, well, this is an Afghan domestic politics. I think if it was a domestic politics, then why international community invested blood and treasure 6 or 7 years ago? I think woman economic empowerment is the key for political independency.
And lastly, are you still running for president? You told me last time we talked that you would.
I'm still thinking, because if I don't, then automatically we gave it the atmosphere for those who would like to take Afghanistan back to where we had to start from scratch.
Fawzia Koofi, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.